Hi guys, and welcome to reading some of Goodreads' most anticipated books for fall. So let's just get directly into it because it's finally spooky season, it's finally time to do this, and I'm so excited for today's mini reading vlog. So basically, as someone who personally uses Goodreads and has been using Goodreads for the past couple years to track all of the books I've been reading, I feel like this came in perfect time or whatever, because scrolling on Goodreads at the very top of the menu, it kind of was an option you can click on, go through all the reads Goodreads recommends as the most anticipated books for fall. And personally, I just got back from a weekend getaway trip, so I feel like this is coming in clutch with the timing, especially sitting down to record the video now, because that means I can get into my fall reads or whatever, get in the mood and aesthetic or what I want to continue for the rest of the year at this point, because fall, tell me why I've been so excited for it this year. And so this is already getting me so hyped up and excited to read, especially because I've been in a reading slump for so long now that I'm actually getting excited to read books, it's a really great sign. So that's what we're doing in today's video for however long it takes us this week. And so I have a couple books picked out from the menu which we'll be getting into reading right now, starting with the first one I've been looking forward to for so long. So let's just start. I will see you all in a bit once I have progress made on it, and that's about it. We're doing the most fun vlog of all time and I'm literally so excited. So basically, for context, the first book we're reading in today's vlog, out of all the ones I managed to pick out from the Goodreads choosers for myself this week, I figured I want to go with Tourist Season, because if you watched like a couple vlogs ago, in that specific video, I was reading some of my most anticipated arcs and this was sent my way, thank you so much to the publishers. But for some reason, when I was having it read aloud to myself through the NetGalley app, I was getting this text-to-speech error. So in that video specifically, I managed to get through 13% of this book before I started getting that issue. And now, as of right this moment or whatever, I have been swapping back and forth ever since that problem happened like over a week ago at this point. We've been reading it on my Kindle and then going back to NetGalley and seeing if the problem persists. So at this point, I have some decent progress made on it. It's more like a serial killer, murdery, mystery, romance kind of vibe, and it's perfect for everything I was looking forward to in the moment, at least, because it's giving me all the spooky vibes I wanted. So now I'm gonna go continue reading that, and in a little bit I'll give you like a summary, but because I got back from my trip yesterday, I want to go and unpack my bags. So what I'm thinking right now is I'll have it read aloud to me in the form of text-to-speech audiobook as I go unpack, because I'm the kind of person that if I don't unpack today itself, I will have the bag literally sitting on the room of my floor for the next month and I'll be living out of it, and I will feel so guilty every time I do that, which is why perfect to just get in a productive mood right now and get through my book as well as unpack, which is exactly what I'll be doing before we go and jump into the rest of the books for the video. So I did promise in that specific vlog where I wasn't able to get to this fully that I will get to it soon, and the time has finally come. I'm so excited because I've been enjoying my read of it so far, and it's kind of perfect because I just need something to listen to right now anyway, and if the text-to-speech issue doesn't happen, this is the perfect book. So I'm gonna go see how that works out or whatever, but I'll come update you all in a little bit once I have more thoughts and updates on this. But so far it's the best time. It's giving me everything I want and it's deliciously spooky, so I'm gonna go immerse myself right into it as I go unpack, and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye. Okay guys, so it's a few hours later. I didn't really anticipate what point I left off at last time around, so I was actually at the 78% mark, and because on NetGalley text-to-speech they don't really tell you how much time you've got left on the book, I assumed for some reason that I wasn't that far in. I just didn't realize, and so I thought we'd have time, but then out of nowhere the audiobook ends just now and I was like, wait, what? So I looked it up. It's over, and that's the weirdest part because I didn't think it would be over this fast, but it is. So I'm done with book 1. We will speak about it before I get into book 2 now, but basically, update on the unpacking. I have gone ahead and removed everything out from the suitcase. It's just now everything's a mess on my bed, and the only things I've managed to put away at this point are only the stuff I'd carried personally for myself. So I didn't really end up recording the trip. I wanted to live in the moment because it was only like a weekend getaway, which is why the other things I'd carried, so like my Kindle and all of my other like accessories and stuff, I put all of that away. I just have my clothes left to do, which will take a little bit, which is why the next book will also be an audiobook. But for now, that's how much I got done while listening to our book, and that's the progress I've made so far. I also ended up hauling a bunch of clothes that I probably won't show you, but I do want to go try all of them on and style some outfits to get or whatever, because it is fall time or whatever. I want some nice cute fits for college, which is why that's probably what I'll be doing during the next audiobook. But again, there is a lot to do in terms of unpacking, and then I have a couple assignments to get to as well that do need to be submitted next week for college, which is why lots is going on right now. The next one will definitely be an audiobook, but for now, to catch you up on book updates, I have gone ahead and finished listening to Tourist Season, which is why we're going to speak about it, because I've been alternating back and forth during the text-to-speech errors or whatever with Kindle reading, and now I finally finished and I don't really know what to say. Because before going into it, again, let me be your cautionary tale. I thought this was going to be like a book one in a series or whatever, and it would be like a standalone romance. I was wrong. For some reason I assumed, I think it's because the other trilogy this author has written, Butcher and Blackbird, the Ruinous Love trilogy, I want to read that so bad, and I do believe it follows 3 different couples over 3 books, so I assume this would also be the same format. But it's not. It's actually the first book in a trilogy, and this ends on the worst cliffhanger ever. So now, I don't know when book 2 comes out. Book 1 hasn't even come out yet. It releases in like 20 odd days from today, which is crazy. So I'm waiting for book 2. Book 1 isn't out, and now I don't even know what to say, because I feel like I've been thrown through this like whirlwind, almost tailspin of emotions, and I don't know what I'm going to do until I wait for the next book to come out. Because the way this ended off, I'm not even kidding, at some point during the audiobook, I was like, wait, hold on, the things we're getting on background, it's fine, but there was so many ends being opened up that I was like, how is she gonna tie all of this up in one book? She is not. It's gonna be a trilogy. So now I'm a little mad because I feel like I've been almost pranked. I will have to wait probably a year, maybe 2 for the next one, and I'm scared because I don't know where the story is gonna go. The way it's left off with so many open endings. Sorry, I'm so excited for the next one, but so scared, and I don't know how I'm gonna tackle the wait. But essentially, this book follows the town of Cape Carnage. If you've read the first series by this author, I do believe there's like cameo characters, wherein our main girl from this book also shows up in Butcher and Blackbird, but because I haven't read that, I cannot confirm. Having gone ahead and read Love and Other Killers though, the little novella that comes out in the middle, I read it in my ARCs video if you haven't already watched it. It does follow characters from that series and from this one, so it's kind of like an amalgamation of the two that is now starting to make sense because I've read this book now. It basically follows the town of Cape Carnage that is introduced in that little novella, and now you actually get a full-length novel on it. Basically, it's like the quintessential small town. There's like quirky locals and stuff, except the only thing that's wrong with it is the unusually high body count, because for some reason there's like a murderer on the run that everyone's trying to find out who it is. There's like bodies turning up everywhere. There's unknown like killings, and like there's no reason behind it. It's just happening. And so the mystery of Cape Carnage attracts a bunch of tourists every single year just to come see what it's about, because it's kind of like an urban legend in itself or whatever. Now enter the main girl that I was referring to. Her name is Harper Starling, and while she isn't like a local that she was raised there, whatever, she moved there a few years ago, and now the town's become her own place, and suddenly all these like nasty tourists that are causing problems or whatever, she's a very skilled gardener in the sense that they won't leave the town. If they cause an issue, she will protect and guard her town with everything she's got, and they'll end up in her flower beds as compost. So take with that what you will. She's basically a serial killer. She is really good at what she does, and not really a lot of people know about it. So that's basically our main girl. On the other hand, we have the main guy. He's called Nolan. He's actually from out of town, and he's got this thing wherein every single year on the anniversary of this hit and run accident, he has to kill someone. So he's also a serial killer, except it's more out of necessity. It's been forced. That doesn't even make sense, but the way I'm saying it basically he just doesn't have any other option. He just wants to get revenge because a few years ago, he and his brother were involved in this like hit and run accident, and the people who hit and ran, they got away with it, and his brother died. So he wants revenge for all of that, which is why on the anniversary of that, every single year, he goes ahead and tries to find out one person that was in the hit and run accident in that car that got away or whatever, and kills them. And there's only one person left, the person who was driving the car, who is Harper Starling. So his job this year is to find her, locate her, and essentially get his revenge by killing her, giving her the slow death that his brother got because of her. Except when they meet, he starts falling for her and everything about her. Except that's the worst part, because they cannot fall in love with each other. He's there to kill her, and that's basically what's going on. In the midst of all of this, Harper is actually looking after this old man who is also a townie or whatever, except he's got dementia, I believe. So he is somewhat a killer or whatever, but his kills could come to light because he is slipping up now that he's old, which is why she's trying to cover for him, because he's almost like a father to her. So now enter this like amateur murder detective, like an investigator online from Reddit, and he's he's actually come to this town, his name is Sam, to kind of uncover the secrets and find that serial killer. So now Harper has no choice but to protect that old man who is like her father or whatever in the town. And the worst part is the bodies that the old man put under the ground or whatever might start coming to light or whatever. So now she has to figure out how to like get them out, exhume them, and then bury them elsewhere. In the midst of everything else, she finds out Nolan, the guy who's come to kill her, his real motives or whatever, which is why she starts blackmailing him almost into this alliance, wherein now if both of them want to avoid detection by Sam, the reporter guy, and save the old man, they kind of have to make this like uneasy truce wherein she kind of takes his help to kind of save the old man and the town or whatever and hide those bodies, and he will take her help in the sense that she will not out him on everything that he's done and his like little hunting habit, because she's got proof against him. Except in the midst of everything else, like I said, they're falling for each other, and suddenly, you know, alliances are changing, things are getting more dangerous. Sam, the reporter, he's finding out more information chapter by chapter, and you're trying to figure out what's going to go down. And by the end of it, the way it concluded, excuse me, I'm so shook. I don't even know what I want to rate it, because I feel like the book was very slow getting into all of it, and it does make sense now that I know it's a trilogy. But with the assumptions that I went into it, I feel like the beginning, it took so long to establish anything and the romance felt a little insta-lovey. But now by the end of it, with the plot twisting really well and the cliffhangers left me off on, I don't know if I want to give it like 3 stars, 3.5 or 4. So I'm gonna give my final rating once I'm editing or whatever, but I'm happy I read it, because again, I've never read a full-length Brynne Weaver book before, and I've now getting to see the hype or whatever, because I truly understand what they mean when they say serial killer romances are her forte. This was done so well, and you know, I had a surprisingly good time with it. I'm so happy I got to read it early, and again, thank you to the publishers for sending it my way. But basically this was book 1 for the video, and I feel like it definitely fits into the anticipated fall vibes or whatever, because you guys are not ready for this book. It's gonna blow everyone's words when you read it, and truly it was so perfect. But if you can, hold off until the next one comes out, because now I don't know how I'm going to survive a year waiting with the cliffhanger that happened and everything else, because all I can think about is like plot theories developing in my mind, and I'm so excited. So here we are. I'm happy I read this. It really flowed by quick otherwise, and it was a good story overall, so can't wait to continue with the trilogy. But now moving on to the next book, I went ahead and quickly just started the first chapter of the audiobook of Sweet Heat, which is the second one in the Honey and Spice series, in my video that I ended up recording last week. I don't know if it's out at the time of me recording this or whatever, but if it is, if it isn't, I ended up doing my reread of Honey and Spice because its sequel was coming out this week or whatever, and it came out yesterday. So that's the only book I've been able to think about overall, and thankfully it was on the list. It was on the very banner of that poster, which is why I had to go ahead and read it. Started. Not a lot of opinions going into it right now, just that I'm so excited, and it's been something I've been looking forward to because I love the couple, Kiki and Kai, from the very first one, and I do believe this is Second Chance, my favorite trope ever. So now I'm gonna go get into it. I don't really know much of the storyline except that they've broken up and there's gonna be a wedding in somewhere, so perfect tropes because those are my favorite ever. And so I'm gonna go continue listening as I go ahead and finish up with my clothes or whatever. But as I'm doing all of that, I'll come update you all maybe tomorrow now once I have decent progress made on the book, because so far so good, but also I've read only 1 chapter and I don't really know what much to tell you of it, which is why here we are. Just that I'm really excited for the book, and you will see me probably gushing about it in a little bit because it feels so good to be back in this world and so good to be getting more new content from it or whatever, that I'm happy. But also I don't really have much of an opinion established yet, so I'll meet you all once I do have one and once I have progress made on it. But so far so good, and this is the next one on our fall like anticipated read. So far I'm getting through quite a few fun books, and this is great so far. So see you all in a bit, and it's going so far amazing, which is why that's it. I'm gonna go now. I've just been yapping for a little bit, but yeah, bye. Hi guys, so it's been a couple days since my very last update to you on the vlog. I have gone ahead and continued kind of listening out to Sweet Heat, and I have a couple updates to give you. But so far on my audiobook app, it kind of says that I have 35% of progress made on the audiobook, so that's great. But then also looking in retrospect, I should have finished the book at this point because this has been one of my most anticipated books of the entire year, and so far it's not hitting, which is why I've had no urge to pick it up whatsoever. Even yesterday evening when I was finishing out errands, I didn't have it running in the background like I normally would because I just didn't want to get to it. And then this evening I could have been listening, but I went ahead and started binging out watching Gossip Girl instead. So that's kind of breaking my heart because my reading slump is getting the best of me right now and I have no mood to read whatsoever, and this book is making it worse because for some reason, even though I hyped it up in my head and maybe my expectations were a little too high, it's just not hitting them. It's so bad. I'm not having the best time ever, and so unfortunately I think it's throwing me back in my reading slump even more, to the point where I have no urge to pick it up whatsoever. And so here we are, that 35% I did not end up putting away and sorting out my new clothes. So at some point as I'm listening and I continue whatever, I will have to go do that. It's just I ended up just throwing them at the front of my closet, and then the rest of the book I ended up listening to on my commute back and forth from college yesterday, which is why I did get 35% done. It's just like I said, I should have been done by now, and that's kind of breaking my heart because I'm not having the best time at the moment. So for storyline, in case you're interested, this is kind of like the sequel book to Honey and Spice. I reread that last week, but I read it for the first time about a year ago, and it's kind of like a romance between Kiki and Kai. It's kind of like a fake dating, almost high school college book or whatever, but then this one takes place in their adult lives. It's like a few years down the line, 3 years since she had her horrible breakup with him, and that's where the story goes from. So for context, this one specifically is about the same couple. It's just like a sequel book that kind of is like second chance and taking place on a wedding. My favorite tropes ever, but for some reason I'm just not having the best time. So here we are. If you do want to read it, I would definitely suggest you go ahead and read Honey and Spice first, so you get like an emotional connection with the characters, but also you can jump in if you want to read this as a standalone. It's just some inside jokes, you won't understand them because they are in reference to the first book. But for the storyline specifically of this one, we basically have Kiki. It's about like 3 years or so after her breakup with Kai. She hasn't seen him around town. He actually left on the basis of his job or something like that, and now she thinks she's moved on with her life. So she's with like this other guy, and he's the most emotionally unattached boyfriend ever. They plan their dates out on his calendar and stuff, and so she's not having the best time with him. She doesn't have that spark and flame in her relationship like she did with Malachi, and she feels like something's lacking. Now on the other hand, she's also got her podcast career that kind of imploded because something went wrong there, and suddenly she doesn't have a job anymore. So she's kind of helping out at her family restaurant establishment, except she's also scared that's gonna go out of business because there's other things going on in the background with that. And then now to top everything off, her best friend Amina, her boyfriend kind of proposed to Amina, and so she's getting married and she asked Kiki to be her maid of honor. So that's great and all, except Amina's boyfriend who proposed, his best man is gonna be Malachi, who is Kiki's ex. So now at her best friend's wedding, her ex-boyfriend is gonna be the best man, she's gonna be the maid of honor, and so they have to meet, they have to interact because she wants the wedding to go off perfectly smooth. Her best friend, that's literally like her sister, she has to have the best wedding in at least Kiki's opinion, so she has to get along with Kai, except when they have the interactions, sparks begin to reignite or whatever, and suddenly she's looking to refire things, rekindle things back up with Malachi, except is their relationship doomed from the start because it didn't work the first time around? Who's to say it will work again or whatever? So here we are, that's where the second chance is taking place. And for me personally right now, the beginning, I feel like, at least the introduction so far, it was so slow to establish things. I feel like we didn't need that. And then since that, we had only one interaction between Kiki and Kai, and from that very first interaction they have this like physical no strings attachment that takes place. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just it doesn't make sense for the characters we have them established as in Honey and Spice because they had like an emotional connection there, and so here it just feels like a hasty hot mess. Sorry. So here we are, I'm not having the best time ever. I feel like it's because I hyped this book so much up in my head because I was so excited for it that maybe I jinxed it and it's letting me down right now. But here we are, hopefully things will get better, hopefully it'll turn around because this was one of my most anticipated books for this year and it's letting me down at the moment in the worst way possible, to the point where I don't even want to look at it. And on Goodreads it says it's like 500 pages long, which means we have quite the way to go. So I will go ahead and continue reorganizing my closet out at the moment, couple errands for college that I need to run and finish those out too, and hopefully I should be done by the audiobook by tonight if I lock in because I'm listening to it sped up. It's just for right now I have zero urge to continue because I feel like a lot of the things that we had in Honey and Spice established, they specifically worked for that book, that just aren't working for this one anymore, because that had like a high school college setting and it kind of justified the way she is. And don't get me wrong, you don't have to change your personality for whatever reason, but the way hers was established, it made sense for that setting specifically. Here, because she isn't in that college environment, you would expect her to be a little mature about things. And don't get me wrong, I'm still having fun with her unapologetic sense, her kind of hilarious badass queen behavior, but also at the same time it does feel a little ungratefully bitchy. And so sorry, I don't come after me for saying that. It's just I'm not having the best time in her perspective. And then to top that off, I'm not even seeing her chemistry anymore with Kai and Kiki. So I'm starting to wonder if Honey and Spice was like a one-hit wonder for me, because that romance, I hold it like on a pedestal in my head, and this one, I'm having a great time with the side characters and the humor, don't get me wrong, but I came here for the romance and the way the characters are established, at least at the moment. I feel like they were fleshed out in Honey and Spice. Here, they've gone back into their shell, and the way it's taking place right now, you would expect that now that they're adults, they treat things better or whatever, go about things better, but I feel like when they were kids in that book, they handled things much better and more maturely than they are right now, and the way things are going off right now, I'm not having the best time. So maybe I just need to go back and pretend this book doesn't exist, and if I don't like it, just say that Honey and Spice is a standalone in my head, and that's what I'll go off of, because reading this honestly is kind of ruining my experience of Honey and Spice, which I reread in excitement for this book last week. So maybe I'm just letting myself down and I guess throwing the axe on my own foot with this. Maybe I'm the problem here, maybe it's my reading slump, or maybe I'm actually not having the best time ever. So hopefully things will get better. Hopefully that physical connection, we'll just get out of it and get back into the wholesome and heartwarming Kiki and Kai that I know and love, because this doesn't feel like them and it just doesn't feel authentic to them. So maybe their characters will go back to the way they were in that book, not this complete 360 that we're watching in this book specifically, and maybe she'll realize that she should get her life and shit under control before starting things up with Malachi, because right now the things they've going right now, whatever, it feels a lot like cheating and also like a midlife crisis for Kiki. So sorry, don't come after me again. It's just I'm not having the best time ever, and you can kind of tell, which is why I'm gonna go stop yapping now. I'm just probably gonna go finish the book out and then I'll speak about it, because it is breaking my heart to be shit talking it. It's just I really need things to take like a turn and a miracle to happen to actually like and enjoy this book at this point, which is why unfortunately that's the way I'm feeling right now. I'm gonna go get back to it and pray that things get better, but for right now things aren't really looking up. So I'll get to it and I'll hopefully see you all maybe later tonight after I'm done with the closet and stuff, if I'm done with the book. But yeah, that's the way things are going off right now, and pray for me, because truly I'm just getting worse in my reading slump with every book I read. So why is it happening that way, and why are second chances not hitting anymore? Give Rex if you've got any, but here we are. I'm gonna go get back to my book and I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, so it's now technically the next day, night, whatever you want to call it, since the last time I came in and spoke to you. It's also a Saturday, the first one I've had off in so long now, which means because I had my whole weekend ahead of me, for some reason out of randomly nowhere, because I haven't had this urge for months now thanks to my reading slump, I had this like random reading mood today. So I was just like, listen, now that I have it, might as well jump on it, which is why I had the most chill, laid back day ever, doing literally the only thing I love in the world, reading. So thanks to that, all I did was literally listen to my book the entire day and then start the next one for this video, because I have gone ahead and finished Sweet Heat, which is why here I am to kind of give you like a progress update before I go ahead and continue my next book. Because while I didn't have the best time with this one specifically, the next one has me hooked to the point where that's the only thing I have on my head right now. That's the only thought running in my mind, and that's the only thing I'm able to think about, because I'm obsessed. That's all I'm gonna say. I think my reading slump is gonna go out the window now thanks to the next one, because I am actually addicted. I cannot stop, which is why I figured I have to pop in for an update so we can quickly finish off the talk about Sweet Heat and then move on to the next one, because it's so good, which is why here we are. I want to rant, I want to yap, which is why I've come back in. But basically, to kind of conclude my update about Sweet Heat, because I finished at this point, I'm not really sure what I want to rate it, because generally on my rating scale, I give my lowest rating I give to books is 2 stars, because authors do definitely put in effort and I don't want to be giving 1 star, but that's just personal opinion. And 2 is for the books that I truly just genuinely hated and I wish I hadn't read. But at the same time, 3 is the rating I give for books, wherein I think it was like a mid book. It was just alright, nothing like spectacular, and I feel like this book definitely is like a 2 or 3 star, except I didn't hate it, but at the same time I didn't have the best time with it. And 3 stars are still books that I consider entertaining enough that they did hold my attention. It's just they weren't the best books I've read ever. So here I am in a dilemma now, because I didn't hate it, I had a good time with the characters, but at the same time it's not that entertaining in the first place, and I did want to be done with it, which is why here we are. I genuinely just just think this didn't have to be written in the first place. I feel like the first book was enough in my opinion at least, but at the same time, I think I'm going to be in the minority when I say this, because when I looked it up on Goodreads, all I saw were 5 stars for this book. There was no other rating, like absolutely. Maybe it's because it was just released like this week or whatever, but from what I can tell right now, people are absolutely buzzed and hyped about this book, which is why don't come and be mad at me for my opinion. It's just for me personally, this wasn't really it. So maybe like 2.5 stars. Maybe if I'm feeling generous while I'm editing, I'll say 3 and I'll have that on screen. But that's what I think about the book. I feel like a lot of things just didn't work in its aspect for me. Number one, I feel like Honey and Spice, the first book in the series, had the perfect ending. We didn't have to have this book specifically. It just could have concluded the way it was. But then here, throwing in all the breakup and the, conflicts again, and then trying to watch them fall back in love and find their way back to themselves. It wasn't bad, but at the same time, I feel like it was unnecessary. We could have just done with like an epilogue book or something like that, and this is what it felt like, just like a dragged up epilogue, because the writing was choppy. It was all over the place. Some plot lines just didn't make sense. After I came in and spoke to you, whatever, and then I continued reading, there was this one storyline that took place wherein Kiki and Kai both get hired by this music artist, him as the director and her as the creative producer, to work with them or whatever, except that musical artist who hires them is Kai's ex, so that brings a little more drama to the table, and I feel like that too was unnecessary and a little laughable. And then at the same time, we have other storylines and plot lines going on that don't necessarily feel authentic to the first book and the characters as we've established them there. I will say though, not all is bad, because we did get a couple scenes here and there with emotional intimacy and them connecting even more than they did in the first place, which is truly what I came here for. But at the same time, the entire book, I feel like the chemistry was off and I just wasn't feeling it. So maybe this is like for the die-hard fans of Kiki and Kai, and even though I do belong in that category, maybe I'm the problem here. Maybe it's my reading slump that just didn't let me enjoy it. So maybe I'm not committing to it or anything because I didn't have a great time with this book, but maybe I'll go back and reread this someday. Probably not. I think I will definitely reread the first book and pretend this just didn't exist or whatever, because it wasn't my cup of tea. But this is the way I feel right now. I can't really change anything about it, and I'm so sorry if we don't agree on opinions, because again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. This just wasn't specifically for me, and that's kind of disappointing because I looked forward to it with all my heart and it let me down, which is why here we are. I'm just gonna move on from it because this is truly just breaking my heart. But it definitely did have some good moments, and the side characters did definitely carry the book as much as they could. It's just not all of it was for me, and that's okay. It's not like a big deal, which is why I'll put my final rating on screen, whatever it was, and we can move on now to the next book that's actually holding my attention and having a great time with. So according to the list I found on Goodreads, there was one book that really stuck out to me, and not because I've read the author before, it's because I was sent an ARC copy of this and I had seen it in my email a couple weeks ago. Hadn't really done anything about it. I just saw it and I was like, okay, cool, I'll get to it at some point. But once I saw it on the list, it just caught my attention in the sense that I was like, hey, maybe I should get to it sooner, because if it's marketed as a fall anticipated book and I am in my fall mood right now, nothing's gonna stop me, except at this point I do believe it has been published, which is why I'm late to reading my arc. Regardless, thank you so much to the publisher for sending it my way, and I'm speaking about none other than how bad can things get, how bad things can get, something like that. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's by this author that I really have been meaning to read, I believe since last year, because I did see Heather McClary kind of speaking about a different book by this author, and it caught my attention because I don't generally read horror, but the way she was describing it truly got me intrigued, and so I have that other book downloaded. It's just I haven't gotten to it yet, which is why this felt like the perfect jumping off point, because I do need to read it for a video anyway, and it's definitely an author that has caught my attention before, which is why I figured we have to pick this book as the final book for this video specifically, and I went ahead with it. Now I did have a couple errands to catch up on today, which is why I have been listening to the NetGalley read aloud text-to-speech version. I haven't really been reading on Kindle, but now since I'll be going in for dinner, I will continue reading on Kindle because I don't really have any more errands to be running tonight or whatever. I managed to get all of it done as I was listening, but as all of that was happening and I just went in to check my progress counter, it says I'm 46% of the way through the book. I started it a couple hours ago, and while I am having it read out to me at the maximum speed the app can manage, It's wild to me because I haven't read so much of a chunk of a book in the past probably few months. At this point in this span of time or whatever, in the last couple hours or so, I have managed to finish half of the book, which, you know, is a little crazy to me thanks to my slump. And so this is definitely getting me, and it's got my attention and it's pulling me out of it, which is my maybe I need like a genre change, because I don't think I've ever read horror before, but the way this is working, I'm having such a good time, and I'm scared I'm gonna have nightmares tonight, but I don't care because it's the best time ever. Basically, it's the storyline wherein it follows this like really popular online influencer, and this man essentially does this thing wherein he kind of hosts this like sweepstakes for a bunch of like tickets to come join him on this like almost like private island recursion trip kind of or whatever. So whoever wins it can come along with him, except a few tickets are also sent out to other influencers, and everyone kind of joins him to go specifically to that private island or whatever and have a good time with him. Essentially, the plan is that for the next 5 days, all the people that have come along with this guy are gonna, you know, get to be in his bubble, see the way his challenges work, but also the thing he does on his YouTube channel, and he's more primarily popularly known for, is games. And so he's gonna host like a bunch of like game contests or whatever for prize money, and, you know, play it on the island for the next 5 days with his fans, and then, you know, all these people can take part in it, win the money or whatever, and there's also like free alcohol and stuff, so have the time of their lives and truly feel like a good vacation with their favorite influencer. And so everyone's just like, hey, this is perfect. So it's kind of like a getaway trip almost with their favorite influencer, except there's 600 people and they all specifically have to be above 18, and there's him, and they go to that private island, and, you know, he's, you know, starting hosting the games and stuff. Except in the midst of all of this, he does tell them that the island is essentially part of this like urban legend, which is why the horror aspect comes into the book, wherein lots of things have happened in the past with the island specifically. There's people vanishing, there's people dying, there's like cults and other things happening there, and so it's not really the best place. They consider it haunted, and as the days progress on the challenges or whatever, as the challenges start to get worse, you're suddenly wondering if it's the island's fault or it's his fault specifically, and he's messed up in the head. And so that's where things are going off right now. Our main character is this girl called Ruth, and she also gets invited to go to the island with one of her friends because her friend wins the sweepstakes, and so she decides to go along with it. Except in her past, she was the only survivor of a different cult. So now looking back, she's wondering if she was chosen specifically and purposely to come on this trip by that influencer, because a couple of the things from her past kind of line up with the stuff going on with the island. And then as things start to get worse and people are dying, and, you know, there's tragic things happening in the worst, most gruesome graphic details whatsoever, she's starting to wonder if everything is not as innocent as it seems, and if all those urban legends from the past are coming true, because things have taken a really bad turn. And so you're trying to wonder and imagine how bad can things get, and that's basically the whole point of it. And I will say, so far right now, I wish I'd checked trigger warnings before this book, before going into it or whatever, because me personally, I don't really get spooked by books. Even when I'm watching horror movies, I'm generally laughing at the stuff that's going on because of how unbelievable and unrealistic it is. But then this one specifically doesn't play into the supernatural, it plays more into the fact that humans are the demons here, and that kind of shit truly always gets me. This is also why whenever I watch like documentaries and shit, that's what scares me more than stuff like Conjuring and whatever, because that can actually happen in real life. I could see it happening. Humans are behind it. And so this already, the premise has got to me, because humans are behind everything. Even in the urban legend and stuff, it's all humans that were responsible, which is why it's already spooking me out, and I know I'm going to get bad dreams tonight. But then not just that, I feel like there's a couple things, the way they were described, stuff going on or whatever, people killing each other off, it was in such graphic detail that maybe that wasn't really necessary. But at the same time, I have this thing wherein whenever blood is spoken about, I don't care how detailed it is, I will start getting queasy, which is why here we are. Might take a break from it tonight, honestly, because I am scared a little bit right now, but at the same time, I cannot wait to keep going because I'm having the best time ever with it, and it's truly gotten me intrigued enough to see where it goes next, because I have a couple opinions here and there, theories plotted out, but nothing concrete. I just want to enjoy the turn the book is taking, and so far, it's a little creepy. So I would recommend for fall, because this book exactly lines up in the kind of vein of books that I was looking to read this season, and so maybe I should completely switch to horror, but then at the same time, I don't really know if my heart can withstand that, which is why here we are, first horror book coming down, and coming down really good, because I'm having such a great, amazing time, which is why I'm gonna go continue reading, see how bad things can get or whatever. But so far, I'm having the best time ever. Nothing but good things to say about it, honestly. And once I'm done, I will probably go ahead and reread this again just to see things add up from the beginning. And then probably have my mom or someone read it, because I need someone to come speak about this book with me. And I know it was just released or whatever, which is why not a lot of people have read it, but you definitely should, because it's kind of perfect. I'm having such a honestly wildly good time that I didn't really expect it, because it definitely does take a couple chapters for build up, but once things are truly established in terms of plot, this, you cannot tear me away from it. It physically hurts me to come give this update rather than just continue reading, but I do need to go down for dinner anyway, which is why I figured I'd stop, and then now I'll go read on Kindle and continue whatever. But so far, I'm having such a good time that I'm starting to wonder if this book is taking my slump away and it's curing everything else, because I cannot stop. This has truly hooked me, and the way things are going right now, it's a little wild, but at the same time, it feels like I'm watching one of those horror movie crime documentary shows that are supposed to be fictional or whatever, except you cannot peel your eyes away because there's some sort of twist and turn happening at the end of every chapter, every show, and it's something you're watching in the dark. You're terrified, but you cannot stop, which is why here I am, literally biting my nails, cannot stop reading, but I have to keep going anyway, and I'm on the edge of my seat, which is why I'm gonna go get back to it. But if you see me the next time around, I'll probably be done with it, which is why don't get mad at me, because now that I'm finally getting excited over a book, there's nothing that's truly gonna stop me from binging it out and seeing where it takes me. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll see y'all maybe tomorrow with more progress updates on it. But again, don't be mad if I'm done at this point, because I cannot peel myself away. It's that good, and I just need to devour it completely, which is what I'm gonna go do right now. So see y'all in a bit. So far so good, and so far I think the video is finally taking a good turn. Maybe it'll be 5 stars, who knows, but so far I'm having the best time ever, and so we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I just needed to come update about that, and now I'll go continue reading and then maybe yap with y'all tomorrow, which is why I'm gonna go now. See y'all in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, so it's now the next evening, and I came in to hop in for a quick little update before I go, because I have so many different things I need to be doing right now. I have assignments I need to submit tomorrow, which I haven't even started, which means I really need to go and start. I have an exam tomorrow that I need to desperately be studying for, and then to top it all off, because today is a Sunday night, I need to be posting a video for the channel, because last week especially, since I was traveling, I didn't end up posting anything, and I haven't even started editing this week's video to have it out for y'all. So in the midst of everything, basically you get the point, I have a bunch of different things I need to be doing. But before anything else, my brain is literally just screaming at me to go continue reading my book, because that's the only thing I have the urge to do right now, which is why I am gonna go do it. I know I should be working, but I don't even care. I don't feel like being productive right now. I want to see where this takes me. So I'm gonna go get back to my book now. I was up to about 4 yesterday reading. I made it to 80% before my eyes literally gave up and I fell asleep, and we can't really help it. But I am back now to go ahead and finish it, because it's got me hooked. I should be working right now, but I have no urge in me to do so, which is why here we are. I'm gonna go finish the book out now, see where it takes me. But basically, I don't think I've been this absorbed in a book for forever right now. It hasn't even been 24 hours, and I will be done in the next hour or two. So it's crazy. Here we are. But that's basically what I wanted to come in and say, because if I don't finish this book and if I just directly go in to start working on the things I need to be doing, I will have zero attention span dedicated to any of that. All I'll have on my mind is this book. That's just the way it's been since I woke up today, which is why it's an urgent, I guess, self-care situation. I'm gonna indulge with myself anyway, and so here we are. I'm gonna go get back to it, and then hopefully after that I will have, I guess, the focus to work on the things I need to be doing, and I'm praying desperately I do, because it's kind of urgent. So we'll see where it goes. But basically, I just wanted to come in and say this book has been consuming me, mind, body and soul. It's not been 24 hours since I started it, but I'll be done with it soon, because I'm obsessed. And I'm also going to go ahead and now download everything this author has ever written, because the fangirl in me has been called to light after so long now. I think this book is finally the one that's pulling me out of my reading slump, and there's nothing like it, which is why here we are. So happy to be here, so happy, and thank you to the publisher for sending this my way again, because this is fixing all my issues one at a time. But also, I'm really praying that this doesn't push me into a slump after I'm done, because this might be the only thing I'll be thinking about for the next few weeks. So we'll see how it goes. But basically, I'm gonna go continue reading now, and then I'll finally get to working, which is why I just thought you guys, would like to know. And now I'm actually gonna go. Bye. Hi guys, so I believe it's been 2 weeks since my last update to you. It's also been 2 weeks since I've been able to finish any book at this point, so my slump has really kicked in. This book threw me into it because I had the best time reading, and then after that, I just don't have any urge to read whatsoever. So I have done one reread since my Maxton Hall book video, whatever, but apart from that, there has been nothing from me, which is why I'm gonna have to push myself back into it. Otherwise, I know it's gonna be really bad. But until then, basically, I came in to say, I finished this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. Thank you so much to the publisher for potentially sending me the best thriller book I've ever read in my life, because this has ruined my life to this point where I think about this non-stop. It gave me nightmares. It was so adrenaline rushing, but also crazy, and I was on the edge of my seat, and I was, biting the tips of my nails, freaking the shit out, and having the best time ever. But I am still of the firm belief that it should come with trigger warnings, because people need to be made aware of what you're going to be consuming once you pick this up, because it definitely is not everyone's cup of tea and won't be when you consider all the triggers that come into place, because it goes into gory details. And so here we are. I had the best time reading because I feel like it definitely also shows you the humans are scary part and the worst side of it, and I feel like that kind of shit always gets me. And so this got me. I can't wait to read more books by this author. I have gone ahead and downloaded like a couple more of her backlist on my Kindle now, so maybe those will kick me out of my slump, who knows. But until then, I had the best time with this one, and yeah, it's ruined my life in the sense that now I'm worse off in my slump and I just can't read anything else, because it's not the way this was, in the sense that it was attention grabbing, but also it had substance to keep me invested enough and give me a good time overall. I just don't think it was 5 stars because it had a slower beginning to get into, and there were quite a few characters, but once you start keeping up with them and you get track of them, it's crazy, it's wild. I never would have seen that coming, and the way it loops at the very end, stop. I feel like that was just perfect. I was so nervous at some point with the open ends that we had, strung up or whatever, wondering how it would close, but the way it happened, I had the best time ever. We did get a couple epilogues though that I feel like could have been made slightly longer, giving you more depth of what happens to specific characters after all the events, because some things weren't really covered, and so it could have been extended. But apart from that, I don't really have complaints. I had the best time reading, and so here we are. But regardless, that's the last book for this video. Now I'll probably go try to see if I should start some other kind of video or whatever to get me out of my slump. But until then, we've reached the end of this vlog, so like, comment, share, subscribe if you had a fun time coming along with me for however long this was. And if you did, hopefully I'll see you all in next week's video very, very soon, whenever it comes out, even if there is a video for next week to begin with, because I haven't started recording anything, and so we'll have to figure that out. But regardless, I'll see you all when I see you. Thanks for watching this, and that's it. Take care. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and bye.